A man is naturally drawn to a woman who fully embraces her feminine energy. It's not about being weak, submissive, or passive. It's about tapping into the natural essence that makes you irresistible. When a woman understands the power of her feminine nature, she creates a magnetic pull that makes a man feel something deep, something he can't explain but can't resist. This energy isn't just about how you look or how you dress. It's in the way you move, the way you speak, and the way you carry yourself with grace and confidence. Confidence is at the core of feminine energy. A woman who knows her worth doesn't chase, she attracts. She doesn't beg for attention because she knows she deserves it without having to ask. She isn't desperate for validation because she validates herself first. When a woman walks into a room with that kind of energy, a man can't help but notice. He may not even understand why, but something about her presence commands respect and admiration. He feels drawn to her because she exudes a quiet, powerful confidence that tells him she is secure within herself. Beyond confidence, warmth and emotional depth make a man feel safe enough to connect on a deeper level. Men are naturally wired to be protectors, but they also crave emotional security, whether they admit it or not. A woman who embraces her femininity knows how to create a space where a man can let his guard down. She isn't cold, distant, or guarded in a way that keeps love at a distance. Instead, she welcomes connection without fear. She knows that true power isn't in shutting people out, but in allowing the right person in. A feminine woman isn't afraid to express herself authentically. She doesn't suppress her emotions to appear tough or unbothered. She allows herself to feel and share those feelings in a way that invites deeper connection. This doesn't mean being overly emotional or dramatic. It means being in touch with what she truly feels and communicating it with clarity and grace. When a man senses that he can trust her emotions, that she won't weaponize them or use them to manipulate him, he feels an instinctive pull toward her. Another key element of feminine energy is softness. In a world that often demands women be hard and defensive, true femininity stands out. A woman who understands this doesn't see vulnerability as weakness. She knows that being soft in the right moments is a strength, not a flaw. A man may act tough in the outside world, but deep down, he yearns for a woman who can be his safe place. He wants to come home to someone who isn't trying to compete with him, but who instead compliments him. But femininity isn't just about being soft, it's also about having standards and boundaries. A woman who truly embodies her feminine energy doesn't tolerate disrespect. She knows that being nurturing and kind doesn't mean letting a man walk all over her. She sets expectations for how she should be treated and doesn't compromise on them. This balance between softness and strength is what makes a man fall deeply in love. He respects her because she respects herself. He values her because she values herself. One of the most powerful things a feminine woman can do is inspire a man to be a better version of himself. A woman who carries herself with dignity and grace challenges a man to rise to her level. She doesn't settle for mediocrity, and because of that, he feels compelled to step up. When a man feels that being with a woman makes him stronger, more ambitious, and more focused, he becomes deeply devoted to her. He realizes that her presence in his life is elevating him, not holding him back. This is the essence of feminine energy. It's not about trying to be what a man wants. It's about fully embracing who you are. When you do that, the right man will feel an undeniable attraction toward you. He won't be able to help but admire and respect you. He won't want to lose you because he'll understand that a woman like you is rare. And in that realization, he will feel a level of love and devotion that is deep, lasting, and real. A man may be drawn to a woman initially because of physical attraction, but what truly makes him feel deep love and devotion is emotional security. A man needs to feel safe with the woman he loves, not just in a physical sense, but in an emotional and psychological way. He may not always express this openly, but at his core, he craves a place where he can let his guard down without fear of judgment, manipulation, or rejection. When a woman creates a space of emotional safety, she becomes irreplaceable to him. He starts to associate her with comfort, peace, and trust, and that's when his feelings deepen beyond surface-level attraction. A man can be surrounded by beauty, but if he feels emotionally unsafe, he won't allow himself to fully open up or commit. It's not about constantly reassuring him or catering to his every need. It's about establishing an environment where he feels accepted for who he is. key part of emotional security is consistency. A woman who is unpredictable in a toxic way, one day warm and affectionate, the next cold and distant, makes a man feel uncertain about where he stands. This kind of inconsistency keeps him on edge and prevents him from fully investing in the relationship. But when a woman is steady in her emotions, when she doesn't let small disagreements or passing moods dictate how she treats him, he feels at ease. He knows that no matter what happens, she will communicate honestly instead of playing games or shutting him out. That kind of stability is powerful. Beyond consistency, emotional security also comes from respect. A man needs to feel respected just as much as a woman needs to feel loved. If he constantly feels criticized, belittled, or like he can never do enough to please his woman, his emotional walls will go up. But when he feels that his efforts are appreciated, that his voice matters, and that he is trusted to lead, he naturally becomes more devoted. A woman who respects her man in both private and public settings earns his loyalty in ways that nothing else can. Listening is another important aspect of emotional security. A woman who truly listens, without immediately jumping to conclusions, without dismissing his thoughts or feelings, gives a man a rare kind of peace. Most men live in a world where they feel the need to be strong all the time, where they don't have many places to express vulnerability. When he finds a woman who doesn't just hear him but understands him, it creates a powerful bond. He starts to associate her with relief, with being able to breathe, with being able to be himself without pretending to be someone he's not. At the same time, emotional security doesn't mean tolerating bad behavior. A woman who provides emotional safety isn't a doormat. She sets boundaries. She communicates her needs without unnecessary drama. She isn't afraid to walk away from situations that don't serve her, but she also knows how to address conflicts with maturity rather than reacting out of anger or fear. This balance makes a man respect her even more. He sees that she is not someone who can be taken for granted, and that makes her even more valuable in his eyes. When a man feels safe, he naturally becomes more expressive, more affectionate, and more invested in the relationship. He no longer holds back his love out of fear. He doesn't feel the need to play games or keep his emotions guarded. Instead, he willingly offers his heart, his time, and his devotion because he knows that he has found something rare, something that makes him feel stronger, happier, and more at peace. A woman who provides emotional security isn't just someone he loves. She becomes someone he never wants to lose. A man may be surrounded by many people, but what truly makes him feel deeply connected to a woman is the sense that she understands him on a level that others don't. When a woman makes a man feel seen, not just for who he is on the surface, but for his struggles, his ambitions, and his unspoken emotions, it creates a bond that is difficult to break. He may not always be able to put it into words, but he will feel it deeply, and it will set her apart from everyone else in his life. Understanding isn't just about listening when he speaks, it's about paying attention to the things he doesn't say. It's about recognizing when he's had a long day without him needing to announce it, knowing when to give him space, and understanding when he needs encouragement. A woman who can sense his energy and respond accordingly creates an unspoken connection that makes him feel truly valued. Men often carry a burden they don't talk about. They face pressures from the world, expectations to succeed, to be strong, to provide, and to protect. Society doesn't often allow them to be vulnerable, to express fear, or to admit when they feel lost. But when a man is with a woman who understands this without judgment, he feels a level of emotional safety that is incredibly rare. He starts to associate her with comfort, with relief, with the feeling that he doesn't always have to be in control. He can relax, and in that relaxation, his love for her deepens. Understanding a man also means accepting him for who he is, not trying to change him into someone else. A man will resist anything that feels like forced transformation. He may adjust his behaviors for a woman he truly loves, but he will never respond well to feeling like he's constantly being corrected, criticized, or told he's not enough. A woman who sees his potential, but also respects his individuality, will earn a deeper level of devotion because she allows him to grow at his own pace rather than demanding immediate change. This doesn't mean accepting disrespect or settling for less than what a woman deserves. It means knowing the difference between guiding a man and trying to control him. A woman who supports his ambitions rather than dismissing them, who respects his need for independence rather than feeling threatened by it, who encourages him when he doubts himself. She becomes the person he turns to when he needs clarity. He doesn't feel like he has to hide parts of himself to keep the relationship going. He can be real, and that is priceless. But understanding isn't just about accepting a man's strengths, it's also about recognizing his weaknesses and not using them against him. If a man confesses his fears, his failures, or his insecurities, and a woman later throws them back at him in anger, he will never trust her in the same way again. The moment he feels that his vulnerability can be used as a weapon, he will shut down emotionally. And once a man stops opening up, the relationship starts to lose its depth. A woman who truly understands her man doesn't just listen to his words, she listens to his actions. Sometimes men struggle to communicate directly, but their behaviors will reveal everything. If he withdraws, it may mean he's overwhelmed. If he becomes quiet, it may mean he's deep in thought. If he acts distant, it may not mean he's losing interest. It may mean he's dealing with something heavy and doesn't know how to ask for support. A woman who recognizes these patterns and approaches them with patience rather than accusations creates an unbreakable bond. When a man feels deeply understood, he doesn't look elsewhere for that connection. He doesn't feel the need to escape, to seek validation from other sources, or to guard his emotions. Instead, he invests in the relationship with full confidence because he knows he has found something rare, something that gives him both peace and strength at the same time. And once a man feels that kind of connection, he will do everything in his power to keep it. A man may feel attraction for many women in his lifetime, but devotion is something entirely different. What makes a man truly devoted to a woman is not just physical beauty, charm, or fleeting emotions. It's the way she makes him feel on a deeper level. A woman who understands this power knows that devotion isn't forced, nor is it demanded. It's earned through the way she carries herself, the energy she brings, and the emotional connection she builds with him over time. One of the strongest forces that inspire a man's devotion is the sense that a woman adds value to his life in a way that no one else does. This value isn't about what she gives him materially, or even about constant acts of service. It's about how she makes him feel in her presence. If a woman radiates confidence, emotional stability, and self-respect, she becomes a source of positive energy for him. She doesn't drain him with unnecessary drama or insecurities. Instead, she uplifts him, bringing peace into his life rather than chaos. A man may be drawn to excitement and temporary passion, but true devotion comes when he feels a deep sense of loyalty, trust, and emotional safety. When a woman embodies qualities of integrity, honesty, and consistency, a man begins to rely on her in a way that he doesn't with others. He starts to associate her with security, with a foundation he can build on. He knows that no matter how tough life gets, she's not the kind of woman who wavers, who plays games, or who uses love as a tool for manipulation. This stability makes him respect her on a level beyond attraction. It makes him want to protect and cherish her. Men may not always express their emotions in the same way women do, but they feel just as deeply. A man will never forget a woman who made him feel seen, who supported him through his struggles, and who stood by him when things were uncertain. That kind of loyalty leaves a lasting impression on a man's heart, making him view her as irreplaceable. But this loyalty is not about blind devotion. It's about mutual respect. A woman who gives loyalty while also maintaining her own standards and boundaries is the kind of woman a man will never take for granted. Devotion also comes from a sense of challenge, not in a negative or manipulative way, but in a way that makes a man continuously strive to be better. A woman who holds herself to high standards naturally inspires the man in her life to elevate himself. He sees the way she values herself, the way she refuses to tolerate disrespect, and the way she navigates life with confidence. This makes him want to meet her at that level to become the kind of man who deserves her presence. When a woman is not easily impressed, when she doesn't chase or beg for attention, she commands a different kind of respect. However, this doesn't mean playing games or acting emotionally distant. The balance is in knowing when to give and when to hold back, when to be nurturing and when to set boundaries. A woman who can love deeply while still maintaining her independence is magnetic. She doesn't lose herself in a man, she enhances his life while still prioritizing her own goals, dreams, and happiness. This independence keeps a man intrigued, ensuring that he never becomes complacent in the relationship. Men fall deeply in love with women who make them feel like the best version of themselves. If a man feels stronger, more capable, and more driven in the presence of a woman, he will naturally gravitate toward her with unwavering devotion. She becomes his source of motivation, his safe place, and his inspiration. But she does this not by sacrificing herself for him, but by showing him through her own life that love should be a partnership, not an obligation. The greatest mistake many women make is thinking they must overcompensate to earn a man's love. They give too much too soon, they ignore red flags, and they compromise their standards in the hopes of securing commitment. But true devotion isn't won through excessive giving, it's won through balance. A woman who knows her worth, who gives love freely but never at the cost of self-respect, is the kind of woman who captures a man's heart for a lifetime. When a man sees that a woman does not need him, but chooses him, it shifts the dynamic completely. He doesn't see her as someone who depends on him for happiness, but as someone who complements his life in the best way possible. This makes him step up, not because he feels pressured, but because he genuinely wants to be the best man for her. A man's deep love and devotion aren't created through demands or ultimatums. They grow through the feeling that he has found something rare. Someone who brings him peace, passion, inspiration, and respect all in one. And once he realizes that, he will do everything in his power to keep her in his life. A man's devotion isn't just about attraction or fleeting emotions. It's about the deeper connection he feels when a woman understands how to touch his heart, mind, and soul. The strongest relationships are built on something far more powerful than just chemistry. They are rooted in a sense of admiration, emotional security, and an unspoken understanding between two people. A woman who inspires deep love and devotion knows that what she brings to the table isn't just her presence, but the energy she carries, the standards she upholds, and the way she makes a man feel in her company. One of the most profound ways a woman can earn a man's devotion is by allowing him to feel like he is needed. Not in a way that makes her dependent on him, but in a way that makes him feel valuable in her life. Men have an innate desire to protect and provide, to be the one a woman trusts when she faces challenges. This doesn't mean playing helpless or pretending to be weak, but rather allowing him to contribute to her life in meaningful ways. When a woman is strong, independent, and capable, but still makes space for a man to be a leader, a supporter, and a protector, it fulfills a deep emotional need within him. He wants to feel like he is making a difference in her life, that his presence is not just appreciated, but needed in a way that no other man could replace. This kind of devotion isn't about forcing a man to commit or proving one's worth. It's about creating a dynamic where he naturally wants to step up. A woman who respects herself enough to have clear boundaries and expectations is the kind of woman who keeps a man engaged for the long term. When a woman is too available, too eager to please, or too forgiving of disrespect, a man may appreciate her in the moment, but he won't feel the kind of deep devotion that comes with true admiration. Men value what they have to work for, what they have to earn. When a woman is selective about who she gives her energy to, when she doesn't chase or settle for anything less than what she deserves, she creates an environment where a man sees her as someone worth fighting for. A man will never feel deep love for a woman who doesn't challenge him in some way. This doesn't mean creating unnecessary conflict or making things difficult just for the sake of it. It means being the kind of woman who pushes him to be better, who inspires him to rise to her level. A woman who is constantly evolving, improving herself, setting goals, and refusing to settle for mediocrity naturally commands a higher level of respect. A man who loves deeply doesn't just admire a woman's beauty, he admires her strength, her intelligence, and her ability to navigate life with purpose. When he sees that she is someone with vision, someone who expects more from life, it makes him want to elevate himself to be the best version of a man for her. But devotion is not just about admiration, it's about emotional connection. A man will feel deeply devoted to a woman who understands him, who listens without judgment, and who creates a space where he feels safe to express his true self. Many men go through life hiding parts of themselves, never fully opening up because they fear vulnerability will make them appear weak. But when a woman makes a man feel accepted, when she sees him for who he truly is and still chooses to stand by him, it creates a level of emotional intimacy that he can't find elsewhere. This kind of connection is rare, And when a man finds it, he holds on to it with everything he has. However, the balance here is key. A woman who gives unconditional love while also maintaining her own identity is the kind of woman a man will never take for granted. If she becomes so wrapped up in his life that she loses her own purpose, her own ambitions, or her own happiness, she risks becoming just another attachment rather than an inspiration. A man wants to feel needed, but he also wants to feel like he is with someone who could stand on her own if she had to. The paradox of devotion is that the more independent and self-respecting a woman is, the more a man feels drawn to her. He sees that her love is a choice, not a necessity, and that makes it all the more valuable. A woman's ability to inspire deep love in a man doesn't come from what she does for him, it comes from how she makes him feel about himself when he is with her. A man will feel devotion when he sees that he is becoming a better man because of her presence in his life. When he feels stronger, more capable, more confident in his own purpose simply by being around her, he will never want to lose that feeling. A woman who masters this understanding doesn't need to beg for love or commitment. She creates a dynamic where a man chooses her every single day because he can't imagine life without her. When a man truly loves and feels deeply devoted to a woman, it's not because of mere attraction or surface-level compatibility. It's because she has created a space in his life that he cannot imagine living without. This kind of devotion doesn't happen by chance. It's the result of a woman who understands how to cultivate an emotional connection so powerful that it becomes irreplaceable. She doesn't just exist in his life, she becomes a source of peace, inspiration, and motivation, making him feel things he never knew he could experience. A man will feel deep love and devotion when he feels emotionally safe with a woman. Society often teaches men to suppress their emotions, to remain strong, and to never show weakness. But deep inside, every man craves a place where he can put down his armor, where he doesn't have to perform or pretend, where he can simply be himself. When a woman creates that space, when she listens without judgment, when she understands him in ways others do not, she becomes more than just someone he loves. She becomes someone he trusts with his heart. And trust is the foundation of devotion. But trust alone isn't enough to make a man feel deeply devoted. He also needs to feel a sense of admiration. Men are naturally drawn to women who carry themselves with confidence, who respect themselves, and who have their own purpose in life. A woman who knows her worth doesn't beg for love, doesn't tolerate disrespect, and doesn't lose herself in the process of loving a man. Instead, she sets standards. She expects to be treated with value because she knows she is valuable. This isn't about arrogance, it's about self-respect. And when a man sees that a woman respects herself, he naturally respects her even more. A man doesn't just want to be loved, he wants to feel needed in a way that enhances his sense of purpose. This doesn't mean a woman should depend on him for everything, but rather that she should allow him to contribute to her life in meaningful ways. When a man feels like he is adding value, when he sees that his presence makes a difference, he feels connected on a deeper level. It's not about making him the center of her world, but about letting him be a part of it in a way that matters. A woman who can balance independence with allowing a man to be a man will always have his heart. Another powerful way a woman inspires devotion is through the energy she brings into his life. A man will always be drawn to a woman who makes him feel good when he's around her. This doesn't mean constantly being happy or pretending that problems don't exist. It means being a source of positivity, peace, and support rather than stress, chaos, or negativity. A woman who understands this knows that her energy is everything. When a man associates her with peace, when he feels like the best version of himself around her, he will always come back. One of the biggest mistakes a woman can make is trying to force love or devotion. A man doesn't fall deeply in love because he is pressured into it. He falls in love because he feels something so real, so unique, that he doesn't want to lose it. When a woman embodies confidence, emotional intelligence, and a sense of self-worth, she never has to chase a man or convince him to love her. Her presence alone is enough to make him choose her every single day. The truth is, a man will feel deep love and devotion when he sees a woman as someone he can't replace. Not because of what she does for him, but because of how she makes him feel. A woman who understands this never settles for being just another option. She becomes the one he wants to build his future with.